Hello aspirants, welcome back to our channel Aspira Ignite. In our last video, we have discussed about the intense power struggle between two European companies, that is British and French, and that took place in South India, in Carnatic region. So, in today's video, we will shift our focus towards Bengal, where two decisive battles, that is Battle of Plassey and the Battle of Buxar, took place. Historians say that these two battles sense the full course of our modern history in India, which means with a slight difference in the result of these wars, the whole history of our modern India history would have been completely different. So, what are the events that made the battle so important? Let us check in this today's video. So, when did Mughal Empire started in India? 1526, right? So during 1526, a very important battle took place. That is First Battle of Panipat. First Battle of Panipat. Between whom? Between Babur and Ibrahim Lodi. And these types of information are very important for exams. Okay. So the defeat of Ibrahim Lodi led to the initiation of Mughal Empire in India under Babur. Ibrahim Lodi was Delhi's Sultanate. So Babur was succeeded by Humayun. Similarly, Humayun was succeeded by Akbar, and Akbar was succeeded by Jahangir. An important event took place during the time of Jahangir. That is, British East India Company got trading rights to trade in India. Who came to Jahangir's court? These types of informations are also important. Captain William Hawkins and Sir Thomas Roe. So Shahjahan was succeeded. Sorry, Shahjahan succeeded Jahangir, and then Aurangzeb succeeded Shahjahan. And also, an important event took place during Aurangzeb was France was given trading rights similarly to British and by Aurangzeb. So we have already seen the events between France, British, and other European powers in India in the previous videos. So today we will see about Bengal. So in Bengal, what happened? Aurangzeb in 1700 made a new development setup in Bengal. So what is the new development setup? That is, he made Murshid Quli Khan as Bengal Diwan and giving some autonomy rights to Bengal Diwan, like trading rights, responsibilities, administration, collecting revenue. So actually, Bengal was similarly like Hyderabad. As in the last video, I have said a central position that is held by Aurangzeb. Okay, and under Aurangzeb, there were various provinces. In the last video, we have talked about Hyderabad, and today we'll talk about Bengal. So they were British possessions. So why did British thought of uh, capturing the East India, that is Bengal, Bihar, Orissa area? Because Bengal was very rich, and then the population of Bengal was very high, and also that time of Bengal included the Bengal, Bihar, Orissa, Bangladesh. And when Murshid Quli Khan became the Bengal Diwan, the first thing he did was he shifted capital from Dhaka to Murshidabad. Dhaka to Murshidabad. And during 1707, after the death of Mughals, he was succeeded by very weak rulers. Those were also called later Mughals. So this led to the weakening of central position. Before that, I'm saying you one thing that you already know. There is Farooq Shah, who was made as emperor in 1713. During 1717, he gave Farman to British that waived off all the taxes and customs of East India Company, and that made British very powerful in revenue matters in Bengal. So Farrukhsir also met Murshid Quli Khan as Nawab of Bengal, first Nawab, before he was met Bengal Diwan. So, as compared to Diwan position, the Nawab includes more powers and autonomy. So, when Murshid Quli Khan knew about weakening of the central position, what he will think? He will think about making Bengal independent. Similarly, as thought by Nizamul Mulk Asaf to make Hyderabad independent in 1724. So, Murshid Quli Khan was succeeded by new Nawab, that is Sujauddin. Sujauddin was succeeded by Sarfaraz Khan. These names are not that important, but as a story format, you keep in mind so that you can exclude some of the names in exams. So, Sarfaraz Khan was killed by his own general who? Ali Wardi Khan, and he declared himself as Nawab. And now the heir of Ali Wardi Khan, that is grandson Sirajuddaulah, became the new Nawab, and he was completely different with the previous rulers. How he was different? That he didn't accept the Treaty of 1777, that is Farman of 1777, that is been given to British East India Company in Bengal. Why did he not accept it? Because he thought of administration, development, autonomy in Bengal. Who? Sirajuddaulah. And those rulers, Sarfaraz Khan, Sujauddin, these rulers were not weak also, but they didn't thought about British. So Sirajuddaulah thought that why did British not paying tax? They are Europeans and everyone should pay tax. So Sirajuddaulah didn't like the ambitions of British in their territory, ambitions of Europeans. So during 1756, in the last video we have discussed about Carnatic Wars. Carnatic Wars. What happened during Carnatic Wars? In 1756, 7 years war started in Europe, and this led to a third Carnatic War in India. In 1756, they were making forts for protection, and both were British and French, both were not paying taxes. And these types of ambitions or these types of works of British and other Europeans were not like or disliked by Sirajuddaulah. So Sirajuddaulah met a meeting with whom? With French and British both. So what did he told them? He told they need to pay tax from now on, and then the 1717 Farman will be rejected. Everything was accepted by France because they were just a mere trading company during that time after the Carnatic Wars, but they were not accepted by British. Why they didn't accept? Because they want to consolidate their position and they want to increase their power in India. So that's why British didn't accept. And this rejection of British made angry or angered Sirajuddaulah. So what did Sirajuddaulah do? Sirajuddaulah attacked and captured Fort Williams of British East India Company. So after attacking, very important events that you need to keep in mind, also important for exams, is that black hole tragedy. What is black hole tragedy? So what did Sirajuddaulah made after capturing Fort Williams? So Fort Williams was completely filled up with Europeans, isn't it? Europeans, British. So he captured the Fort Williams, he locked the door, and most of the people who were guarding the Fort Williams, their guards or their workers, or even some residents of Fort Williams, they were being locked in a very small room, in a room where only 20 to 40 people can survive. So in that room, he locked 146 peoples. So out of 146, only 23 survived. Why? Due to suffocation. So this is called the black hole tragedy. Made by whom? Made by Sirajuddaulah in Fort Williams. So at that time, Robert Cliff, where was Robert Cliff? Robert Cliff had already come into play. At that time, he was serving in Madras. So hearing that black hole tragedy, he rushed to Bengal and attacked Sirajuddaulah and made a peace treaty. What is the name of the treaty? This treaty is not that important, still keep in mind. Alipur Peace Treaty. So Alipur, what is Alipur? Alipur. Alipur. The name of Kolkata or Calcutta at that time was made Alipur. By whom? By Sirajuddaulah. So that's why Alipur Peace Treaty. But that peace treaty didn't give much peace to both of the teams. Treaty not helpful to them. So Robert Cliff think of an idea. As Robert Cliff is very intelligent and tactical person, he made the knight move of the chessboard. Knight. So what was his move? His move was that he met Mir Jafar and two bankers, an army general of whom? Of Sirajuddaulah. So these names are important for exam. Mir Jafar was the commander-in-chief, Mir Jafar, and two bankers. I'm writing their name here. Omi Chand and Jagat Seth. And one army general, that is Rai Durlap. So Robert Cliff bribed these four generals of Sirajuddaulah. And during that time, in the last video, as we have seen in the third battle of Panipat, that British attacked France and Chandernagore factory. So at that time, Sirajuddaulah thought of an idea that British were already in war. So let's attack British in Plassey. British were already in alliance with the generals of Sirajuddaulah, but that thing is not known by Sirajuddaulah. That's why Sirajuddaulah also attacked British at Plassey, which humiliated Sirajuddaulah at Plassey. So the Battle of Plassey took place in 23rd June 1757. This date is also important. So Sirajuddaulah was defeated and he was killed on the spot, and also defeated other generals of that were not bribed, that is Mir Madan and Mohanlal. So these types of questions are tricky questions, are a bit important. Who among the four or five were inside of Sirajuddaulah? So the answer will be Mir Madan and Mohanlal. These four will be excluded. So this is also important. Alamgir too. Who was Alamgir too? He was Mughal emperor during the time of Battle of Plassey. So after the defeat of Sirajuddaulah, who was made Nawab of Bengal? Obviously Mir Jafar. Because of the greed, Mir Jafar made alliance with British. So this defeat of Sirajuddaulah led to the starting of imperialism in India. So this was all about Battle of Plassey. Now let's talk about Battle of Buxar. So in Battle of Buxar, after the death of Sirajuddaulah, Mir Jafar was made ruler by British. That is Nawab of Bengal by British. So as you already know that anyone that is being placed in the throne by the British will be a puppet ruler of British. That is Mir Jafar became the puppet ruler. So Mir Jafar gave lot of Hazrana and Nazrana to British. What is that Hazrana and Nazrana? These types of words are very important for exams. Hazrana means penalties and fines, and Nazrana means gifts. So British were very greedy. So they demanded daily, their demand increased daily. So Mir Jafar also thought of an small idea. What idea he thought? That as he already knew that he will not, even he will give half of his property to British will not feel enough because they were very greedy. So Mir Jafar contacted Dutch East India Company in 1759. Dutch East India Company. Dutch East India Company was in Indonesia at that time, and Dutch East India Company was kicked out by the British. But still, they thought that if they had given chance by the Nawab of Bengal to defeat British, why not they won't come? Obviously, they will come, and they came. They came and fought a very important battle. That is Battle of Bedara and Battle of Sinsura, and Dutch defeated by British. And this battle of Bedara and Sinsura led to the ending of aspirations of Dutch in India. So after that, Dutch shifted its focus to Indonesia. So after that, what did Mir Jafar do? Mir Jafar ran away from the battlefield. You need to focus on one thing. Why did British East India Company won easily with Dutch? They won very easily. Why? Because in 1757 they won Battle of Plassey. And Battle of Plassey they got gift very much wealth, penalties. They got this from Sirajuddaulah. That's why they were very rich, and being rich is a very advantageous position in war. So that's why they won. So after Mir Jafar left, a new Nawab, also a puppet Nawab, made by Robert Clive, that is Mir Qasim. Mir Qasim was made Nawab of Bengal. Mir Qasim fulfilled demands for a few days, similarly like Mir Jafar. And he also knew that they were very greedy, and no matter how much I will give them my wealth, they will not feel satisfied. So he also thought of a small idea, that is, he shifted the capital to distance from British, from Murshidabad. The capital was in Murshidabad, right? To Munger. Where is Munger? Munger is in present Bihar. So he also trained his army and established gun factories. And after that, he made a very big commitment, that is trade free for all traders. So what does this mean? Before this clause or before this commitment made by Mir Qasim, that everyone in the every local traders or other Indian traders in Bengal had to pay tax, but British were exempted from tax. So as British were exempted from tax, they made huge profits, and local traders and Indian goods were very couldn't compete with the British goods because of their custom duties and taxes. So tax free for all traders, which means that now local traders or Indian traders, no one had to pay tax. Now, after making tax free for all traders, market is again made competitive for all British and local traders. So this angered East India Company, and at the time they made small wars and defeated. Who defeated? Mir Qasim was defeated, and he again ran away. He ran to whom? Sirajuddaulah. Why he ran to Sirajuddaulah? Because at that time Sirajuddaulah fought Third Battle of Panipat. With whom? With Marathas. So you will think now that Third Battle of Panipat was fought by Maratha and Ahmed Shah Abdali. Ahmed Shah Abdali. But you also need to know that Ahmed Shah Abdali was in alliance with Sirajuddaulah and they won. Ahmed Shah Abdali and Sirajuddaulah and Rohillas of Delhi, they won against Marathas in Third Battle of Panipat. And that's why Sirajuddaulah was a very powerful position of that time. Even more powerful than Shah Alam II. Who was Shah Alam II? Shah Alam II was the Mughal emperor. So Mir Qasim first ran to Shah Alam II and then they both went to Sirajuddaulah. And after that, the, the thought of attacking Bengal. Bengal under whom? The thought of attacking British. That is Battle of Buxar in 22 October. This is also important. That is why the date is important because of chronological questions been asked in present exams. So during that time, Robert Clive moved to vacation. So that's why Hector Munro was being placed to fight under the Battle of Buxar. So Sirajuddaulah, Shah Alam II, and Mir Qasim was defeated easily, very easily. Why? Because of lack of coordination, their loose army, loose setup, and their lack of motivation. So this war led to the sign of a very important treaty that changed the whole course of the modern India in 1765. That is Treaty of Allahabad. According to Treaty of Allahabad, Sirajuddaulah, first you focus the thing, okay? Hector Munro fought with whom? Or British fought with whom? They fought with Shah Alam II, Mughal Emperor. Sirajuddaulah. Who was Sirajuddaulah? He was Nawab of Awadh. Awadh, okay. And Mir Qasim, he was Nawab of Bengal. So British made a treaty with everyone except Mir Qasim. Why? Mir Qasim fled. He ran from the battlefield, ran away. So Sirajuddaulah and Hector Munro signed a treaty in the first. Sirajuddaulah ceded Kara and Allahabad to British, gave Kara and Allahabad to British. And in return of Awadh, because as he was the ruler of Awadh, Awadh was captured by British. So British gave Awadh back to Sirajuddaulah. In return, they took Kara and Allahabad. It's a little bit complex. Okay, let me say you again. In the Treaty of Allahabad, Hector Munro and Sirajuddaulah signed a treaty. So in first, they said to Nawab of Awadh that you are defeated, so Awadh is mine. If you want your Awadh back, then give us Kara and Allahabad. So Kara and Allahabad was given to British in exchange of Awadh. Again, in the second war, expenses of 50 lakh took from Sirajuddaulah. What is war indemnity? This means the expenses, that is expenses made for foods and preparation of war, and this was taken from Sirajuddaulah. Thirdly, for protection of Sirajuddaulah, British will keep troops in Awadh, and that is also not free. And for that also, British took 26 lakhs and a monthly salary to the troops. And what is this? This is a position of subsidiary airlines, one of the clause of subsidiary airlines. So now, with Shah Alam II, who was Shah Alam II? Shah Alam II was Mughal emperor. Obviously, British will give some respect for the future use of Shah Alam II. Sorry, British gave Kara and Allahabad to Shah Alam II. Kara and Allahabad was taken from Nawab of Awadh, that is Sirajuddaulah, in exchange of Awadh. And now it is given to Shah Alam II. Why it is given to Shah Alam II? British want the trading rights of Bengal, Bihar, and Orissa, that is Diwani rights. And this is the main thing that sends the course of the whole history in India. Now, who was made new Nawab? After Mir Qasim fled the spot of the battlefield, okay, and after that, Nawab of Bengal, Mir Zafar was again made Nawab of Bengal. Why was he made Nawab of Bengal? Because British want Burdwan, Midnapur, and Chittagong region in exchange of his position. British said to Mir Zafar, I will make you Nawab again, despite you did some conspiracies against me, but you need to give me Burdwan, Midnapur, and Chittagong. So what did British got? Bengal, Bihar, Orissa, Burdwan, Midnapur, Chittagong, and Diwani rights of all these areas. So now you knew maybe British need only wealth. Now let us talk about Diwani rights. What is Diwani rights? Diwani rights means power to collect resources, power, resources, and tax collection or revenue collection. Everything is in the hands of whom? Hands of British. But responsibility of welfare, responsibility of peoples, that is called Nizamad rights, is in the hand of whom? Hand of Mughal Nawab. That is Mir Zafar. So this is called the dual government of Bengal, and this took place in 1765 and last up to 1772. So what happened in 1772? It was removed, and in 1773 British signed a regulating act of 1773. We will see them in next videos. So this was all about the Battle of Plassey and Buxar. Thank you.